Hello everyone and welcome back to Rebellious Menstruation. This Q&A is on how companies that own pads and tampons have gaslighted women and why the dialogue and language surrounding the menstrual cycle is as important as education. So this is like the third time I've tried to film this. Okay, let's get into it. Gaslighting is a terminology stolen from the 1944 movie of the same name about a husband that systematically brainwashed his wife into thinking that she's insane, thus causing her or forcing her to have to protect herself against this violent, controlling and manipulative husband. The consequences for the wife in this situation can lead to such psychological disorders as Stockholm Syndrome and PTSD, as their reality becomes so warped that they can no longer rely on the reality that's presented to them or trust those around them, especially if they are left in a position of being reliant on their gaslighter or have at one point trusted the person who was gaslighting them. Obviously, in the case of this movie, the wife had trusted her husband. The issue of gaslighting is particularly troubling as everybody is at risk for this, not just the individual in an individual circumstance. Cult leaders and dictators are really great examples of gaslighting in a community sense. So gaslighting just doesn't affect a husband and wife or a family. It can affect larger groups of people. It is a difficult type of abuse to recognise because it happens at a slow and deliberate pace and is often not recognised until it is far too late, as it starts off as being something positive, as in they are giving you something, they are fixing something, or, they are helping you out of a situation. So personally, they may, a partner may give you a place to live, or in a group situation, they may actually be, say, improving the economy or cutting taxes, which leads to a positive affirmation for the person who is actually leading this gaslighting. However, there are several key tactics that envelop these gaslighting endeavours, including the obvious lying, denial of information and or promises, using love, whether personal love or future love, against you to manipulate emotion, methodical denial of self-evident truths, diminishing self-choice, using words to hide lack of action or hiding disruptive action, manipulating love or promoting kindness only to tear down hope. Other aspects of gaslighting include creating confusion and instability by providing inaccurate information, or hiding the truth, projecting and reflecting legitimate concerns back, mirroring and highlighting your insanity or unsurety, and manipulating the information until it obscures any truth in the lies. Gaslighting is a mentally and emotionally abusive, culturally depicted, creating and promoting anxiety, depression, and medical issues, as mentioned. Women are often culturally depicted as emotional, fragile, crazy, passionate, and ill-behaving as a gender as a whole. This also extends to marketing's approach to women and how often this emotional fragility is promoted as a natural offshoot of periods. Consequently, what is a biological reality for menstruators becomes what also makes them weak and unable to function, and where the gaslighting of periods culturally kind of begins. Gaslighting asserts dominant beliefs with extreme conviction and denies the unwavering indignation of any dissent from said convictions. Shame and distortion are manipulation techniques also employed by cultural marketing. If you cannot ride on a horse bareback in a white bikini on a beach, are you even really a person? This manipulation is present in the way periods are discussed and marketed. And if menstruators question this, they are gaslighted with the alleged logical comebacks, such as being accused of being too sensitive, of being PMSing, of not understanding the humour, of not being funny, invalidating menstruators' actual experience with periods themselves, and also rendering any and all comments that a menstruator would make as humorless and undereducated. And this, of course, from non-menstrators who actually have no experience whatsoever with the reality of menstruation. This constant gaslighting leads to severe mental and health ramifications. There is increasing stress, anxiety, differential from public and private personas, self-doubt, questioning of decisions, capacity, and transitional trauma of disbelief, defense, and depression, along with the accompanying treatment and medication that may further reinforce this gaslighting, that you are weak and unable to accurately assess the emotional and physical scope of your menstrual cycle. An example of this in a real-world context outside of those ridiculous marketing ads is the average amount of time it takes for endometriosis to be diagnosed. Endometriosis is a painful disorder where the tissue from the lining of your uterus grows outside of your uterus, mostly across your pelvic organs, directly external to your uterus, such as fallopian tubes and ovaries. However, it could and may spread beyond this area. And this tissue acts like it normally would. It thickens, breaks down, and bleeds along with the usual menstrual cycle. Yet, as it is in a displaced area, it cannot exit as per normal as would lining in the uterus. This can lead to surrounding tissue becoming irritated, causing a variety of problems including ovarian cysts, scar tissue and adhesions, severe pain and fertility problems. While severe pain can indicate endometriosis, it is not a reliable condition, as you can have severe pain without endo, and with mild endo, and in fact little or no pain with advanced or severe endo. In addition, endometriosis can cause pelvic pain that is mistaken for pelvic inflammatory disease or unassociated ovarian cysts. The average time it takes to diagnose endometriosis is 8 years. This is appalling, especially as the number one reason given for a delayed diagnosis is symptoms being dismissed outright, particularly with younger women. This is usually being dismissed as not being only normal for periods, as in severe pain, but complainants being hysterical and overtly emotional, along with symptomatic PMS symptoms. While endometriosis can share symptoms with other diseases, the fact is that 1 in 3 women were required to consult at least 4 different doctors to have their symptoms taken seriously enough to be tested and get a clinical diagnosis. This highlights severe difficulties in the way women are treated in and by the medical field. This is an example of how women are gaslighted, particularly with the biological reality of their menstrual cycles. There are important techniques to combat gaslighting aside from burning the patriarchy down. Document as much as you can and as accurately as you can. Pay attention to the medical professionals in your life and, where able, replace them if they're not treating you and your symptoms correctly. If possible, take an advocate with you and get every refusal of service noted down. If a medical professional is refusing to take you seriously, demand this in writing. In the case of marketing, avoid campaigns by companies whose profit margin is more important than you are. Our money is our vote, and you can re-educate yourself from the negative language and gaslighting. You can make these companies hurt. Thanks for watching. Enjoy your morning, afternoon and or evening, depending on where you are in the day. And I will see you all next video. As per usual, all of the details are down below. Feel free to ask any questions or consult your medical professional. Bye everybody.